I'm not allowed to swear in front of kids.
They're not here. Swear all you want.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to the Goodell life. I hope you liked my last video about how to organize documents and some of your files, and some of those tips helped you at all, that of how I organize my stuff. I'm sorry that I can't speak at all, and oh my gosh, I'm sorry I can't really speak anymore apparently today and form proper word structures or sentences, so we'll see how filming this goes. Today I thought I'd do something a little bit different, and let's talk a little bit more personal about my life, and I thought we'd talk about how Joe and I actually met. I know that we're planning our wedding kind of openly on here, and I post about him a lot, but a lot of people might not know how we met and how our relationship started. This all started, by the way, because as I was organizing, I found this little tin of goodies of things that I saved from when Joe and I first started dating in September of 2012, which sounds like ages ago, and this year will be 6 years together, which is just absolutely insane to me that somebody would stick around that long in my life and not kick me out, because I am annoying as hell. So I guess struggle snuggles is my first tip, and then making bacon a lot. That work really well as a trap. I would really suggest you try those things if you are also trying to trap a Joe. And puppy snuggles. Always stop to pet the puppies and animals you see. That works well as well. So those are my tips of how I caught him. No, I'm kidding. We actually met. If any of my family or his family sees this, they're going to kill us, but whatever, they're going to find out at the wedding anyway. We've decided to somehow casually drop this into conversation in our speeches. We tell a lot of people that we met at Tim Hortons, local coffee chain, and technically we did, but we also met online on online dating first, and it's quite funny to me, at least, that we met on there, because both of us joined on bets from other people. Neither of us did it on our own, well, I guess on our own choice, but like for me personally, I was a little bit tipsy one night and complaining to my friend that I was tired of being single. My ex-boyfriend had just cheated on me a whole ton of times, and he was a complete dick. He did a ton of terrible things, but one of them was cheating on me with like a couple handfuls of people, and I had just found out about it a few weeks before at my birthday, and I was really upset, and I just said, you know, I don't know why nothing's working. And my friend said, well, have you tried online dating? And I said, no, everybody on there is creeps and pervs, and I'm not into that. And they said, well, you don't know until you try, and either way you're right. You'll win either way. Either you're right and everyone on there is creepy and pervy and just wants a one-night stand, or you win and you end up finding somebody to date. So I said, okay, fine. And I made a profile. It's like a half-assed profile. It wasn't very good. Of course, I got a lot of really creepy messages. I mean, I messaged back and forth with a couple people that didn't seem the worst. Personally, my favorite is when one of them was the best friend of a guy I had gone out with, and he didn't recognize my name at all. Apparently I'm very forgettable, so that was an interesting experience. I was like, conflict of interest, no thanks. And just a couple different things like that. There's a lot of weird people out there, you guys. So then I went back to my friend. I said, you know, I was right, it's not working. And they said, well, have you messaged anybody first? And I was mad at this point. I was like, I already made my profile. I put pictures of me up on the internet, on a dating site. You know, I'm so awkward already. And they said, nope, you have to try this and we'll see how it goes. So at the time on the dating site we were using, which is Plenty of Fish, by the way, which I don't even know, do people still use that? Is it all on Tinder now and Bumble? Or what's that other one? Hive a thing? I don't know, I see these things on Instagram, I don't know any of them. And so on Plenty of Fish though at the time, I don't know if this is still a thing, if you had a profile and identified as a woman, you could actually go to this tab and see your compatibilities with guys in the area closest to you. So I flipped through, there was a couple, I was like, I don't know why all these people say, I love outdoors and mudding and I want a girl that's also kind of like a guy. And it's like, okay, but do you, like, let's be real, like, do you actually? And I've met quite a few guys that say they're all into those things, but they don't at all, so I don't know. But I think it was like the 4th or 5th profile down was Joe's. I thought it was interesting that his name had nothing to do with, like, all these guys were like, big burly man in plaid 101, Chad 18, like 95, dirt bike 34, like just stupid things. And Joe's had nothing to do with his name, so I was already intrigued because I am a curious cat. And he had a few pictures, some were better than others, and he had, which I tell him all the time, I'm like, you're lucky you put up a couple of those other pictures because I would have never messaged you since that is not what you look like. And he had these 3 questions and it said, message me, what superpower, yeah, there was 3, what superpower would you have, what animal would you want to be, and then a song that you like that I probably haven't heard. And so I can't remember what I answered fully. I think that for the song I sent him White Rabbit, oh, blanking on the name. If I figure it out, I'll tag them below. But a song from a concert I went to, I said that if I could be an animal, I don't even remember what I said, but it was some sort of mythical thing of a combination of different things. Something that didn't exist, I'm sure, because I don't answer questions properly ever. And then I said my superpower would be flying because I don't like the idea of teleportation because you can never trust if you're going to be remade the same, and then there's that ethical issue if you're taken apart and re-put together if you're actually the same person. So that was I had a really long-winded answer. And I was like, oh, see, sent something out into the space and he's gonna think I'm crazy. And he didn't think I was crazy, or if he did, he hit it well. We messaged back and forth for quite some time. And by quite some time, I mean a week. And then he asked to meet me and we met at the Tim Hortons downtown in the city we live in. And I had told so many people about where I was the entire night. I was like, sorry, I have to text my friends that you haven't murdered me yet. So if you plan on murdering me, just know that it has to be within like 20-minute intervals or else my friends are going to come find you. He's like, oh, that's fine. I told my friends the same. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, no. So he was totally fine with me being weird and texting my friends the whole time. And we actually talked so long that Tim Hortons shut down and we had to go to McDonald's. Now, what's kind of funny about our first date too is I had just gotten off work and I was so nervous waiting for my coffee I had to go to the washroom. So I went to the bathroom, which was like in the back corner. And when I came out, I thought I saw him, but it was from behind. And he was freaking out because he forgot my friggin' name. And so he was trying to pull up my profile and he was paranoid that I had seen that he was looking at my profile on his phone. And then he asked me this really stupid line, and he's so proud of himself because it worked on me, but I was just so nervous I didn't notice it at the time. He asked me how to spell my name properly for his phone, to which, looking back, it's like, you should have known how to spell my name since I literally texted it to you. But he just had forgotten my name. And that was his trick to get me to say it. So that was a trap, but it worked. And I don't even remember what we talked about. We talked about so many things. And then we went to McDonald's and he lied and he said he didn't like fries. Now, anybody who's met Joe knows that fries are actually a food group unto themselves to Joe, and he grew up eating poutines all the time. So that dirty liar, pants on fire, lied just so that I could eat all of the fries without guilt. And he actually paid for my McDonald's. It was a very romantic first date. And then I realized, oh my God, it's like 1 in the morning. There's no buses anymore and a taxi's really expensive and I have no way to get home. So I had to rely on this essential stranger to drive me home, and I have a huge thing with getting into cars with like guys that I don't know. It took me a long time to be okay with getting into cars with even like co-workers and people I did know after some bad experiences in high school. And so here I was, it's now 1 in the morning and I'm like, oh my God, I have to get into this car and tell this guy where I live. Like, if he's a serial killer, this is when he'll do it. He knows my friends have fallen asleep by now. Like, I'm screwed. Thankfully, not a serial killer, so that's great. We took things pretty slow. Ended up, we spent a lot of time together. He would drive me to class in the mornings, even if he worked at night, and I would stay up really late, stupidly late, working on papers, and then we'd go to Denny's when he was off work because he was working nights then too. And we'd go to Denny's at like 3 in the morning, just stupid shit, right? Like stupid stuff. And he'd always buy me like a milkshake. I gained a ton of weight the first year we dated, by the way, because we went to Denny's all the time and we also went for wings all the time. I played video games a whole ton at his house. I started staying the night probably 50% of the time there. He'd drive me to work or to school, which was really sweet because I hated taking the bus. Got really accustomed to that lifestyle. Now I rarely take the bus, so I think I won that battle. After how long? I want to say it was only a few months. We started dating around September. It was around New Year's Eve when we said I love you for the first time. And I will say on record, because he's also not here to argue, but also it would be a lie if he tried, I said it first. So Joe, it's on record now, it's on the internet. No takesy backsies. You should have said it first if you didn't want this to be the story. And for like weeks before that, he just kept saying, you know, I really, really like you. I'm more than like you. And I'd be like, what's more than like me mean? He's like, you know what it means. And I'm like, no, you need to tell me. And so finally I was like, okay, screw this. I'm going to be an adult. I love you. And he's like, I love you too. I said, sorry, what was that? Was that so hard? Of course, every big milestone apparently in our relationship is a minor fight or an argument because we are, I guess, crazy. And then, let's see, so that was around December. April is when I went to Hawaii because I was graduating school, and he sent me flowers, and it was the first time a boy had ever sent me flowers, and he sent them all the way to Hawaii, which I thought was so great. They got there 2 days before I left, so I gave them to an old man because I couldn't take them home with me, unfortunately, but they were really pretty. And it was really nice that somebody cared about me that much when I was gone. And I remember my dad being like, why would this boy send you flowers? Who does he think he is? And my stepmom at the time, they're now divorced, was like, because he loves her. Can't you see? He loves her. And it was really cute. That May or June, Dad and Tenny got married, and Joe came, and he got so many great reviews from friends and family of how much everybody loved him, which was really sweet. And then that summer we moved in together. So all in all, I feel like it moved really fast, but then since then it took forever for me to get this damn ring on my finger. I think is really funny because in our little pot of things, I actually have not 1 but 2 ring pops because I kept them and told him, see, this is from Valentine's Day. I said I wanted a real ring, and then he kept buying me ring pops. So joke's on him. I eventually won that battle and got a ring, but it did take 5 years of that. So slow and steady wins the race, I guess, on that one. Haha, Joe. I say this as if like I won some battle, but really it was a mutual decision. We had been looking at rings for years. We just had no money. And yeah, so I guess because that's kind of how it all started. Ended up living in this one apartment for a couple of years, then we put a down payment on this apartment. Then while we waited for this one to be built, we house sat in a little heritage home, which was really nice. It's been an interesting ride so far, and now we're wedding planning. It's exciting building my life with somebody that I don't think is going to run away in the middle of the night. Not that I've ever really thought that about him or maybe anybody else, but where you just work so well together. And it's really nice knowing that when I do have like any of my anxiety attacks, or if I'm really upset about something, that I can call him and I can cry in front of him without any judgment or fear. And I think sometimes, if anything, he gets annoyed at this point because he's like, how do you cry so easily? Like, why are you crying again? But he never says it to me. He's a very sweet guy. Then our birthdays are really close together. So in August, we tend to have a joint birthday party. And last year we decided to do a tie-dye barbecue party at the park downtown here by the river. And I was really annoyed because the whole organization of how I wanted the day to go had been thrown off, and I thought we were going to be doing like the tie-dye and then eating, and then other people thought we were eating and then doing tie-dye. The whole thing got changed around, and I'm not good with change, especially for my own events. And so I was super annoyed and trying to keep it together in front of everybody. And then Joe says to me, as I'm setting stuff up for the tie-dye after we ate, he goes, we should say thanks to everybody for coming. And I was like, I already did. Like, was my thank you not enough? He was like, well, we just need to say it again. I was like, well, you can say it again, but I already have. I was super insulted. I was like, why did you not think that how I said this was enough? But whatever. And so I had my back to him as I was like kneeling on the bench part of the picnic table, and I was setting things out, and I was completely ignoring him because I was so annoyed at this point. And suddenly I hear, will you just pay attention? And I realize everyone's staring at me. So I turn around and there's Joe on his knee with a ring out. And I was just so shocked. I was like, I think I said, can I swear? Because I wanted to swear, but I wasn't allowed in front of the kids earlier. And I was just so freaked out that I couldn't swear. And it didn't seem real. I was like, is this a joke? This would be a really mean joke to do to me. Like, I thought he might have been doing it when we went to Mexico, so I really didn't expect it to happen then. But I'm glad he did, and so now I'll always remember our birthdays as when he proposed. And so that's an exciting little tidbit about us as well. So if you have any other questions about our relationship, I can't really think about all of it right now, sorry. Feel free to send me a message or ask me below, and maybe I'll do another video about it. Again, if you like videos like this, hit that thumbs up. If you want to hear more about my life with Joe and cleaning and wedding planning and whatnot, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye for now.
I'm not allowed to swear in front of kids.
They're not here, swear all you want.
No.
So I know it's not the right size, but do me the honor of being my married?
Is this like full of shit?
No?
Yes, but like, you don't really believe it.
You're welcome.
Yeah! Awesome!
So again, it's not going to fit, but we'll get it refitted. So.